Good, happy Thursday morning, April 11th, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, David Ortiz helps launch Red Sox-themed scratch tickets in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
This is not your kid's sandbox. This is the place that brings your backyard dreams to life. With
the State House Plaza felt a little more like Fenway Park today.
It's an honor to be here today with you guys.
David Ortiz, Big Papi, World Series champ and MVP, appearing with the New Hampshire Lottery to kick off their $5 Boston Red Sox World Series champion scratch tickets. Winners could walk away with $100,000 or even a chance to meet Big Papi himself. Impressive prizes, but Ortiz was impressed by the money the lottery commits to schools.
Donate over $2 billion for education. That's huge. That's something that makes a difference. You know, all these kids, with education, the only way you can have a bright future.
And kids were a big part of the day. All-star baseball and softball players playing catch with the former slugger, like junior Swamp Bats player Mackenzie Neese.
I got a signed softball from him because I play softball. I gave him a hug when I took my individual picture inside.
After that announcement in Concord, Big Papi made his way to several destinations in Manchester. You can see just how excited all the fans are.
Awesome. It's a really good experience. Can't believe he's here.
Billy's Sports Bar, Yee Dynasty, and Backyard Brewery all got a visit.
I'm glad he came by, picked us one of our stops, it was great.
Big Papi says it's all for the fans.
It's always good hanging out around the fans,
In Manchester with Big Papi, Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Looks like a fun time. Investigation underway after a malnourished dog found at Manchester Park. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Jessica Moran.
Right now at Ippolito's during our spring sale, you will receive a double discount equal to twice the...
There you go.
Meet Daisy, a sweet and gentle female pit bull whose emaciated body shows signs of neglect.
Thought-wise, that goes through my head is just sadness, obviously, for her and wondering what she's gone through.
Granite State Dog Recovery found Daisy near Livingston Park on Monday and brought her into Veterinary Emergency Center of Manchester.
She came in pretty emaciated, so really skinny. Her body temperature was too low to read on our thermometers here. Lethargic, shaking.
Estimated to be 2 to 4 years old, she weighs just 26 pounds, a third of her proper weight. She also has urine burns on her skin, a possible sign she was confined to a crate or kennel.
That is an option that it could be possibly a neglect situation. It also could have been just from being a stray, so it's hard to know for sure kind of her background without knowing her previously.
Veterinarian Jordan Daigle says this case is one of the worst she's ever seen.
This is definitely one of the more severe ones that I've seen, but obviously very optimistic in trying to get her into a better position.
Jordan says Daisy's prognosis is good. She is eating and drinking, but her overall treatment will take some time.
It'll be a long road of recovery and just kind of getting her acclimated and adjusting to kind of a normal life. So it'll take a little bit, but I'm highly optimistic that she'll have a good, happy life.
If you recognize Daisy, you're asked to contact Manchester's Animal Control, and if you watch this and you're thinking about adoption, the vets say it is still too early to tell when she'll be ready for that step. In Manchester, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. "17 face charges after state federal drug investigation." Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
This is not your kid's sandbox. This is the place that brings your backyard dreams to life.
Tom and Jen, this investigation started last year. These drug raids happened yesterday, and now 17 people have been arrested facing drug trafficking crimes. Now, the 11 people arrested federally face felony-level drug distribution charges involving Suboxone, oxycodone, hydromorphone, and meth. This is a photo of one of them being taken into custody. The 6 others are being charged by the state for drug sales. Local and state police, the DEA, and the state drug task force worked together to charge these individuals. Now, as part of this investigation, a warrant was issued at North Country Medical and Wellness in Colebrook to obtain records there. A doctor in that office is John Fothergill, who's also a state representative. He has not been charged or implicated, but today at the State House, he did speak about what happened.
Well, what I know is yesterday morning the DEA came into our practice and they presented a warrant. And so the DEA is conducting an investigation. Our office is, complying or, cooperating 100%, but I don't know any more details than that.
Right now, we are waiting for more information about this case. We did ask the U.S. Attorney's Office for comment, but they declined at this time. We're live in Concord tonight. Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Executive Council Counselor says he will take a serious look at whether Smart should get hearing. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Monica Hernandez.
Your kid's sandbox. This is the place that brings your backyard dreams to life, with thousands of landscape options to choose.
Well, that's right, Tom. Pamela Smart is currently serving life without the possibility of parole for her role in her husband's murder. As we first reported last night, her legal team has filed a nearly 700-page petition asking for the governor and executive council to commute that sentence. After nearly 3 decades behind bars, Smart writes that without intervention, she will die in prison. And now the executive council will decide whether Smart deserves a hearing and vote. That would make her eligible to someday have a chance at parole. Smart's legal team is asking for her request to be considered despite a previous recommendation against a sentence reduction from the Attorney General's office.
This is a constitutional responsibility of the governor and council, so I know I and the other counselors take it very seriously, and we'll see what the paperwork looks like and then what the hearing looks like if that's granted.
Counselor Andrew Valinsky says this will be his first time reviewing Pamela Smart's case, while the other members of the Executive Council declined to comment. All 4 of the then teenage boys convicted in connection to the murder of Pam Smart's husband Greg have been released from prison. Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man seeks pardon for conviction to avoid deportation. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9 Andy Hirschberger.
This is not your kid's sandbox. This is the place that brings your backyard dreams to life.
We prayed every day and night over the past decade so someone may help my brother have another chance at life.
The sister of Alan Otta makes a tearful plea for his pardon to the governor and executive council today. At stake is Otta's deportation to his native Lebanon, which hinges on a burglary conviction from 2004.
This case to us is about life or death. The decision today would significantly impact my brother's life and the lives of those around him.
Otta was 20 at the time of the crime and served 5 years in prison. He says he was a reckless young man back then, and the time behind bars was good for him. Since Otta's release, he opened a successful auto shop and says he's been active in charitable work and in the community. He told the executive council he supports his disabled parents and is looking to start a family of his own, but that could all go away depending on their decision.
I come home filled with stress and fear over my immigration status. It affects every aspect of my life. If I were to be deported, I would once again be torn from everything that I love.
But police and the Rockingham County attorney spoke against Otta's request, citing an impaired driving case after he was released from prison and the seriousness of his original crimes.
This really has nothing to do with deportation to me. It has more to do with what's right and what's wrong in the laws and what's just and what's appropriate. And I don't think that pardoning, making his convictions go away is the just thing to do at this point in time.
Now, Councillor Ted Gatsis did ask whether a pardon with certain conditions, something kind of like probation, was possible, and the Attorney General appeared to say yes. The earliest that they could vote on a pardon is next week. Reporting live in Manchester, I'm Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Conway Town officials charged, along with other man, with manufacturing marijuana. Let's take a listen to this video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
Hi, I'm Lane Gregoire. And I'm Logan Gregoire. Country Camper is family owned and operated, and we have the best.
A tip from a concerned citizen sent Conway police to this rundown trailer at 18 Colbath Street on Saturday. Inside, they say they found more than a dozen mature marijuana plants and several smaller ones, and evidence that it was a permanent pot-growing operation.
There was a fairly sophisticated lighting, ventilation, and water filtration system that was utilized to facilitate the grow.
Police arrested 50-year-old Daniel Davis of Rochester on scene, charging him with felony manufacturing of marijuana. 2 days later, a second arrest on the same charge. 49-year-old Graydon Turner, a member of the Conway Budget Committee. The town manager didn't want to comment on camera, but says no one has called his office with concerns about the elected official and that he's innocent until proven guilty. Turner's term on the Conway Budget Committee expires in 2021. He was also running for a seat on the town planning board. He turned himself into police on Monday, elections were Tuesday, and he came in last.
It's against the law, so, that's what he's supposed to be in there obeying the law.
I think they should be held accountable.
Possessing small amounts of marijuana is now decriminalized in New Hampshire, but Conway police say that possessing larger amounts or manufacturing marijuana is still illegal, and they take it very seriously. Conway also borders Maine, where marijuana is legal to possess and grow in certain quantities.
We don't look past that just because it's legal, 5 miles away.
In Conway, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. features fairly flat as investors designate Fed minutes. U.S. stock index features pointed to a fairly flat start to the trading day Thursday as investors designated minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest meeting. Trump says he won't give tax returns to Congress. Treasury misses Dems' deadline. The IRS commissioner faced lawmaker questions on the request yesterday. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin said his agency won't make the Wednesday deadline. House Democrats for the IRS to respond to their request for President Donald Trump's tax returns and is consulting with the Department of Justice on how to proceed. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.